Good morning! Welcome to another beautiful day in North Idaho. Today we're gonna go find a couple different ways to make some fire with different tinder sources. Hayden, you ready to go make a fire?
Yes. Fight into it?
Yeah, I did that as a kid. Alright, so we're gonna go find our first source of tinder, kind of just driving around the county a little bit, because obviously as you change location, your different natural organic sources availability changes. But we're gonna gather up a couple different options for you. So obviously when you're going out, when you're making fire, camping, whatever, number one, you want to be prepared. So knowing what's available in your area is really important. Here, one option, you got dry grass. All right, so we can gather up a bunch of this and you can start a fire with it just by creating little bird's nests. So this is gonna be our first option. Awesome, that should do. So here in North Idaho, we're kind of fortunate. We have a bunch of different little ecosystems. The one location, where are we at?
This is a marshy area. It's a wetlands habitat.
So yeah, we got a big body of water here where it just so happens a lot of cattails grow. And this is another really awesome ignition source.
You break them open, they have really, it's like fluff kinda, so that they catch a spark really easily.
Awesome.
Okay, that's actually perfect.
Woo! Look at those. So as you can see, some of the fluff is already kind of breaking out a little bit. That's okay. There's still lots in there. All right, we changed locations here and we just happened to spot some birch bark here. This stuff lights on fire incredibly well due to the specific oil that's in it. So a lot of these barks that peel away kind of like a sheet of paper are typically gonna ignite on fire really well. Hayden's just gathering up a couple different strips here. Hayden's doing a great job at peeling it up though.
Owie.
You okay? Oh no. Fresh tattoos don't serve you well while you're... So here's another really great example of that kind of papery type of bark. Just grab and peel it right off.
It looks like up close.
Here's another awesome find. Got this bark here. It kind of just peels off. And you can see this really fibrous stuff. We'll peel it up, we'll roll it up, turn it into a little bird's nest fire. Show you how well it ignites. That was a good find.
Yeah, it was a great find.
Man, this is beautiful. Found. Hayden's always finding the mushrooms and fungus.
I didn't know what it is.
Okay, we stumbled upon our last little bit of tinder that we're trying to harvest here. Tree beard, witch's hair, fuzzy wuzzy oak tree moss stuff.
Fuzzy wuzzy oak tree moss.
Yeah, this stuff lights on fire really well. You've actually probably seen it in a lot of our previous videos because we use it so much, and here in our area it's really accessible.
It's really nice because it makes like a perfect little nest that you can like kind of make a little indent there and put a spark right in the middle and blow. Perfect.
Awesome. All right, I think we got all our little tinder sources that we need. Hayden just found, what'd you call it?
I think it's an imitation morel. It's not a morel, but this one will kill you. Because morels, they have like a cone shape with little squigglies going up. This one's kind of like a cluster.
It's pretty though.
Yeah, it is. Pretty and deadly.
Yeah. So before we take off, we actually found one more spot that you can get an ignition source from. And if you find these certain types of trees with these little bumps here, a lot of times these bumps are filled with a very, very liquidy type of resin. So a couple different trees have different types. You want to look for the type that is very, very fluid, very liquidy. And as you can see, as I cut into that, it just runs really, really well. So you can collect some of this onto the end of a stick. Wipe that off there. So I'm gonna do this to a couple different spots here. So as you can see, I'm just trying to saturate the stick as much as I can. And this has a really, really kind of resiny smell. Not quite the same as your typical fat wood. This one smells more like Christmas. Wow. All right, I'm gonna gather up a little bit more and then we're gonna go and try and light some of these different ignition sources. All right, so firstly, our first little bit of tinder is just gonna be dried grass. You can find it pretty much everywhere and it lights really well as long as it's really, really dry. I like to kind of put this into a little nest here. That way it kind of creates a little spot to catch my spark. My spark can kind of nestle in there. As you can see, this has a somewhat short burn time, but enough to get some of your dry wood started.
This is cattail, also known as typha. So what you want to do is you want to just kind of break it up, pull it off. So these cattails, they grow in wetlands, like marshy type areas. So as you can see, you get a really quick ignition with this, and it helps a little bit more if you break it up. A really, really quick ignition. Alright, so our next one is going to be tree beard. This is a type of lichen that is pretty much fungus and algae. And you see this one, we use this one quite a bit because it's really easy to find and really easy to harvest. Kind of just make it into a bit of a nest as well.
Next up we have, now it's a type of bark. I'm no tree specialist, so I'm not entirely sure what type of bark it is. All I know is you can peel it off lengthwise, kind of like paper off the tree. You can take this inner stuff that's really thin, really papery, peel it off. And I'm just peeling this off here. Gather all this up. I don't want to use all of it right now. And I'm just gonna roll this up. Basically, I want to take all these little fibers, break it down nice and fine. There we go. And just like that, another nice flame to get your fire started.
Next up, we have birch bark. Oh, and this is the one we peeled off the tree. So birch bark has a bit longer of a burn time. You get your twigs set a little bit easier with birch bark.
Next up, we have fat wood. Now, the way we did it today is not quite as traditional as most people do it. However, we have these little fat wood pucks. We just ended up taking a knife and kind of dremeling out kind of a little hole there, which gave us a little pile here. However, a lot of times what you can do is you can take a little fat wood stick. This is not one, this is just an example. And you can kind of scrape against it with the back of your blade, or even using the serrated area that we provide there. And you can get a lot of nice little shavings from your fat wood. So we're gonna get this one started. So fat wood, what's so great about it is it's got turpin in it. So that's that turpentine smell that you will smell if you harvest any fat wood. That's what is really, really flammable about the material as well. And as you can see, for that little amount of fluff that we had, it's got a pretty decent burn time. Maybe about 40 millimeters worth of fatwood shaving. And kind of in the same category as our fatwood here, this is the stick that we kind of collected some of that pitch or resin on from the tree with the bubbles. There we go. So with the little pitch that we collected on this piece of wood here, it does work better when it's wet. So as soon as you harvest it, it's gonna work a lot better. This, we put it in the truck, had a little bit of time to dry, and it doesn't actually work as well. So when you get the pitch fresh, it's gonna burn a lot better.
Right, so knowing all these tinder sources are really, really great to know, but it's always best to be prepared when you're going out. And that's what our Tindår Wick is for, right? The reason we take this out to the woods is because it's reusable, long burn time, super awesome, and it works every time.
All right, we hope that you enjoyed watching our couple little tips and tricks on how to gather some tinder and get it lit. Just make sure that you
like, comment, share, and subscribe!
Oh my God. Hey buddy. Did you make a new friend?
This is Pepita.
He is a beautiful
Tortellini.
Well, we definitely want to watch out for that because he was just kind of in the grass. What was I saying?
Like, share, comment, subscribe.